Mm.
Beth, you are unfrozen now.
Okay, good. Yeah, that was weird. My whole screen went black, but I'm here now. Okay.
I'd like to do something a little different this week, which is to start with a spark and then take it from there. So I have a screen to share. This spark came to my mind because we're having a shift in space holding from me to Leslie starting next week. And I think this spark is really about context of what it means to be on a team together. And there's this thing of having somebody holding space, which means really guarding the context, bringing people in. And then there's this thing of not having just a bunch of followers in the space, but really having something else. So this spark, I think, is about that.
Mm.
To be a leader does not mean to be the best or to be perfect or to know how or to be in control. If you have gotten to this spark, you have already proven that you are a leader. It is too late to debate the question of whether or not you are a leader. People who are not leaders do not read the sparks. You have a unique destiny to fulfill for the evolution of humanity. Part of you thinks that you can fulfill that destiny alone.
Mm.
Sure, you're very capable alone. Yes, you can complete things alone. Clearly, it can be easier alone. Of course, you can take on unexpected challenges and succeed alone. Certainly, you can be happy alone. That we already know. But if you have gotten this far in the sparks, working alone is no longer the way for you.
Mm. Look around with refocused eyes. There are people around you who are attracted to what you are doing. These people are hungrily waiting for you to lead them. These people cannot do it themselves. They want what you want, but something stops them from taking responsibility for going first. They need you to go first. If you do not responsibly lead them forward, then the world that you both want to give birth to will die in the womb. Sure, you have failed before. Sure, you have made mistakes. The decisions you took may have caused harm to those people who trusted you. Perhaps you vowed that you would never again put yourself into a position where others could suffer as a result of your mistakes. Please consider that that was then, this is now. The people around you now are alive and well. They are asking you to try again. These people are responsible for their decision to go with you. The universe needs you to go ahead and do the jobs placed on your bench. The universe begs for you to start again. Pick up where you left off. Bring people together. Keep encouraging the embers in their souls to catch fire and glow again. Do what you can, even if you think it is not much.
You do not have to be the best to be a leader. Guaranteed, there are other leaders more skilled and capable than you. If they were in your position, they could turn your project into a major success with a tenth of the effort you are putting in. But there is something you must come to realize. Those other leaders are already busy. They are not available. Those leaders are somewhere else working full out on their own projects. In your present circumstances, you are it. There is nobody else but you here to do the job. You are the best leader to be had. Do not wait around for someone else to rescue you. They cannot help because they are busy somewhere else. You have a job to do. Just do it. Forget about being the best.
Not
You
have to
do
be
that?
perfect to be a leader. One of the greatest paradoxes of the human mind is that we have the ability to conceive of perfection. For example, thinking of a mathematical sphere is simple. The paradox comes from the conflict between the conceptual and the actual. Spheres do not actually exist in reality. There are no perfect shapes. There are approximations of spheres, spheroids, things that look like perfect shapes, but they are not perfect. Nothing in the physical world is perfect. So how could a leader be perfect? We are human beings, not robots. Forget about being perfect.
You do not have to know how before you can be a leader. The idea that you must know how before you can lead died with the 20th century. Change is happening way too fast now. In every arena of human endeavor, nobody has the luxury of certainty anymore. The answers of the complexity of today's problems lie encoded in group intelligence. Okay. In a rapidly evolving environment, a leader succeeds by joining with his or her team and committing to an outcome first, before any of them know how. The team's commitment to produce results, no matter what obstacles arise, creates enough necessity for the knowing how to be discovered. Liberating and harnessing group intelligence is the core method of possibility management's new meeting technologies. Forget about already knowing how. You do not have to be in control to be a leader. Old style leadership pivots on control. New style leadership accepts and navigates chaos. Control is a desperate attempt to avoid fear. We describe control as desperate because the price of control is too dear. Control eliminates access to so many unexpected but useful nonlinear options. Nowadays, if fear is not your friend, you will not be responsive and flexible enough to navigate your team through unknown territory to effective results. Forget about having control.
I'm going to read straight through the experiment and just bring it as an experiment for all of us to practice during the rest of this Spark study group. Upscale your commitment to leadership. Bring your people together this week. Have a new kind of meeting, one where the outcome is unknown. Announce that you wish to take more personal responsibility for leading and ask what people need. So all of us would do this. Ask for what they miss or would like to have from you as a leader. Ask where people are yearning to go. Do not interrupt the flow of the conversation. Do not mix critical thinking with creative thinking. Let the creative thinking flow ever bigger and fuller. Save critical thinking for another time. Your job is to keep the meeting safe by steering away from discussions or debates. Instruct people to say what they want rather than contradicting what someone else says. You take notes on a flip chart paper so that everyone can see the map of where you have been and can deduce where you might be going. Do not edit what people say with clever questions or sideways comments. Do not be surprised if the project gets bigger than you expected. Give your meeting a name. Have the meeting each week. Keep figuring out ways to empower your people to implement the ideas that they want to suggest to you. It takes time for them to step into their own bigness. Part of your job is to midwife your people into their next level of responsible creating in the world. You help them most by demonstrating that leadership is fun and possible, and that you do not have to be best, be perfect, know how, or be in control to be a leader. Beth, what do you have to say about this?
The first thing that came to mind just now was like, well, I was sitting with what would I even lead about? But it's actually something that's right here, right now. It just came through. And I'm sitting with this question of how can I live on a day-to-day basis uh, without creating waste? And this has been something that I've been really wanting to do and kind of like stepping into and stepping out of, but really like making a commitment to not use single-use plastic and not be creating trash. And while I know there's other people who have already like mapped out exactly how one could do this in their daily life on like an individual or family or community level, there's part of me that just like wants to figure it out. And I would want to be here with you guys. I would want to know if you people are people who would want to try an experiment of not creating waste in your life. And if I was going to lead anything, like it would be that. It would be something like that. Just this like little shift that we could all experiment with and try to see if we like if it could make a difference. So that's what's coming through right now. Just it seems so doable. And I also just want to hear from you guys if these are things that practices that maybe you already do, or if there's things you know about this already that I don't know that you could share here.
Seems like a good springboard to get something started. I would have things to say.
Like what?
Do you do you have things to say?
Oh yeah, if we were going to have that conversation, and it sounds like we are. I think it's a very important goal to have to reduce, at least reduce single-use plastics. And
Leslie, rather than interact with Beth on the idea of agreeing or thinking it's a good idea, it may be those things. I propose that the context of this team is about being with and empowering each other. So that would mean energetically and more with your emotional body, being with Beth of this is my teammate, this is something she cares about, rather than approaching it first from, ah, yes, this is a good idea. I agree. Is the difference clear to you?
yeah,
Okay. I'm woefully unprepared. I've been on the move. I need to run upstairs to get my beat book, and I propose you just keep having this conversation while I do that.
Cool. Leslie, are there ways in which you've tried this or things that you've done in your community that you see that work?
yeah, that's what I was going to start talking about. But it sounds like Dawei's coaching is to find out from you more about the meaning of what it is you want to create.
Yeah, well, if you're on my team about it, I want you to be with me in it and just, yes, go, Natasha.
I have a different possibility, which is like, yeah, the meeting of the team first. And then you guys can dive into whatever it is. But it's like I would love to see Leslie like be on the team. Like sign up energetically and emotionally if that's what you want to do.
Hmm.
And give that to Beth.
Yeah, now I'm what I thought I was understanding from Dawei, and he's here, so we can clarify, is Beth, I heard you like plant a seed, like this single-use plastic issue is big, and it's my awareness in the environment is that this is a huge problem. So I want to get other people thinking about it. And maybe a question would be, what has kept you from doing that until now? Or
Mm.
what, where's, how does, yeah, how does that feel to have that as a goal, as a right principle?
Yeah, and I don't want to go back to what has stopped me from doing it now, because I saw how that kind of brought me to the past, and suddenly I'll be bringing my past boxiness or something to right now. I'm talking about why I haven't gotten a team together up until now, and it's like I haven't. And while I have implemented certain things in my own life, like not buying plastic at the grocery store, that like not buying vegetables that are surrounded by plastic or something, like these are
Yeah,
things all I know is that I'm here right now, and this opportunity came in, and this kind of this like idea of like leadership, and like I might not know how to do it the right way, but it matters to me and I have dreams about it, and it's like I'm here right now wanting to, yeah, figure some things out and do it and really
yeah.
make a difference.
So as your partner, I would in, call for you to think about your next steps. What are next steps toward that
Mm-hmm.
effort? And what I heard you say was you wanted to hear from your team, from us, what are our experiences with single-use plastic or that level of stuff. So that sounds engaging to me.
But
Something I would want to be involved in.
I encourage you to go a level deeper than that, Beth. The what comes up is why do you want to know about our experiences? Sort of my mind comes up with things of maybe she wants to know that what she cares about is important to me too,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. Or maybe she
Yeah.
wants to know whether I have an idea for how to do this or how to implement this in my life. And that all works. And I would just have a different purpose. I would want to try something else first, which is how does Beth become the fully flaming Beth blazing trails in the world? Like
Mm-hmm.
we can do the other things. I can tell you my ideas and I would want to try this first. And
Yeah.
it's wonderful that we go straight into this sort of project conversation. Thank you for going first and just taking it in the direction you are. I pasted in the chat the tail end of the experiment from another spark that I was considering of reading today. And this spark was, it's called, well, it's Spark 93. I'll link it in the chat later. You have infinite resources when you can ask for help.
Mm.
I'll read one paragraph from it. This spark
Mm.
intends to initiate a change of great versatility and power. This spark proposes that the block stopping you from truly engaging your full possibilities in life is simply that you do not have company. We can remedy that together with an experiment. And the last paragraph of the experiment is, here's the experiment. And this is what's in the chat. Whatever little or big thing you need for taking the next step in each of your 3 projects is what to ask each person you meet to help you with. The subject you speak about at breakfast, at a party, at a meeting, in line at the post office, everywhere is, what would help you? Make it part of your daily conversation. You are already in action. Ask for what you need from each person the universe puts in front of you to ask. So you've got 4 people that have plopped in front of you here. This is how infinite resources become available to you. If you do not know exactly who to ask for help, then ask for help about who to ask for help. If you ask for help, then you are not being rescued, which is really wonderful news. As soon as you ask for help, you're not being rescued. Don't have to worry about that anymore. The help given is a form of creative collaboration between you and the helper. Now, even the boring parts of your life are interesting because you never know who you will next meet to ask for help.
Hmm.
I don't understand that. As soon as you ask for help, you aren't being rescued. I think there's a lot of examples where that's not true.
Yes. Yes, I think we cannot cover 100% of cases. The point is that the other person doesn't have to guess what you need. And that's where a lot of rescuing comes from, is trying to figure out, what does this person need? Can I give it to them? And if Beth just asks, then I get to choose whether or not I do that.
I see.
Hmm. Well, a question is coming up for me to ask you, Leslie, and it might be really weird, but I'm just going to go. I just had this vision of you, if you would be on my team, by I would first want to know how many people are in your community. And then I would just want like a weekly picture of how much plastic waste there is, like just what's in the recycling or something like that. And somehow I feel like this data would be helpful to me in my documentation of what it looks like to go from like being in a wasteful society to being in one that's conscious about this kind of thing. Would you be open to, would you do that? Or maybe, I don't know, if you have a counter proposal, something along those lines of documenting how much waste a community of your size produces in
Where
like a
are you,
week.
Beth?
Me?
Yes.
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona at my Uncle Joe's house.
What's stopping you from just documenting the trash that is produced at your Uncle Joe's house,
Nothing.
or all of the, I mean, you can figure out what the trash pickup day is and
Mm-hmm.
walk around. I assume he lives in a neighborhood. I don't know if that's true. Is it true?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And documenting what goes on in his neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Nothing stopping me from that. I will do that. I will document that while I'm here.
Why do you think Dawei made that possibility for you?
There's something about like me becoming this like fully flaming, as he put it, as that way you put it, this fully flaming, like already doing these things for myself, and like, and that's like me taking on this thing that I'm passionate about, and not using a team to outsource in some way. Like there's something around that. That's what I would say.
What I get from it is Leslie could agree to do it, and then you're stuck waiting for Leslie to do it, and maybe she
Mm,
forgets, maybe she's not really bought in, maybe she doesn't do it. And then whatever
yes.
thing is turning in you stops.
Mm,
And it's like I could smell the purpose really slightly of this
hmm.
outsourcing of responsibility to Leslie.
Yeah, I can smell it too. And I didn't consider documenting what was happening in this neighborhood I'm in until you gave me that possibility. So, yeah. And then I can sense that I have some fear about like, what would I ask anybody else then? Because it's like, I need to be doing all these things, or I could be doing all these things first. And so then yeah, there's like a fear about like, well, then what do you even ask anyone? until I'm got all of the things dialed in.
Yeah, then it's a real question. Then it's a real question of how can we help you?
Yeah. Well, something about accountability comes in, like that's the word. Like, but I don't even know. Something like that, like checking in to see if I'm going, if I'm doing the things I say I'm going to do. But I don't know. Yes,
Ooh,
Natasha.
Natasha.
What if it wasn't bad if you asked all of us to do the same thing you're doing with you?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
what if you didn't have to be with me?
Yeah. In that case, it would come more like I would be like, I decided to, you know, every time I go into a grocery store to make sure that I'm not getting any of the produce that's wrapped in unnecessary plastic or buying juices or something that are in these plastic bottles. Would you try that experiment with me and see how, if it really drastically changes your grocery experience or if you're able to make it work for yourself? That would be one thing. Yeah. And then I have this passion about when there are plastic bottles around, making eco bricks by stuffing the remnants of these plastic things into the, you got it has to be cleaned out and you tamp it down with like a stick or and you just smush as much plastic into a plastic bottle as possible and seal it up. And this alone really keeps all of those little microplastics from going back into the earth, at least for a time. And not only that, you can
I
build out of
feel
these eco bricks.
I'm excited. I'm excited hearing about this. It's like it's clear you've thought about this a little bit, maybe a lot. You know
Yeah.
about this thing. I'm excited, and the question's like jumping out of me already. How do I help you with whatever you're going to be doing with that? How about you, Genevieve? What's going on for you?
Well, when Beth, I don't know that what she explained in the bottle, I don't know it. And oh, what is that? It seems interesting. How do we do that? Well, yes, I would like to know more.
So, like, this is a question
Cool.
that it's like, could you go through your recycling right now and mail me all of your plastic bottles or whatever that I don't know, or something like this?
Yeah. I, yes. And I can't do that until I get back to Boston. But when I get back to Boston, yes, I would be open to that because I'm only here for like 5 days. So it's kind of like a temporary thing. But it's something like that. Or just also having people start to, you guys can make the eco bricks where you're at, you know? You can make them where you're at. And even putting those bricks into the trash is actually more like better for the environment than like putting it into recycling. Things don't really get recycled so much unless you live in certain areas. But everybody can do this, can find out what happens in their own neighborhood in recycling because it's very different from space to space.
Does
But
everyone on this call feel that Beth could really dragon speak or something big about what she's talking about?
Yeah.
Does everyone get that?
Yes.
Like
Yeah, it's like we're clearly getting 10 or 20% of whatever is here.
it's true.
So this is what I
Yeah.
want this team to be for, is empowering things like this to come out without the pressure of like, okay, now Beth has to make this big, whatever, eco brick wall by tomorrow or something like that. But I
Yeah.
want to hear, I just want to hear more, and I really want to know like what is the project that's been dying to come out of you about this, Beth? That maybe you thought was too silly or whatever, because there's four people here that it's so natural, like we are lit up because we can smell whatever is in you.
Yeah. So I have this vision of having, instead of recycling centers, but really creating something like an upcycling center where these bricks are being made and then they can be used for building. And so I know that this already is happening in certain places. But I have this vision of like building an outdoor amphitheater using these eco bricks. And just also this idea that like in every town, like an upcycling center could be an option that could work with the recycling center to be stuffing these bricks and creating these like things that people can actually build homes from or build different spaces for, even like for sports or like for rec centers. There could be building out of these eco bricks. And so that's one of the things, is this idea to have upcycling centers kind of spread around, so that, and people could learn how to do this in their home. It's so simple, and it's like a project that keeps kids too engaged and really conscious of how much plastic is being used. And so there's like, you become conscious of how much you're using, you do your best to not use it at all. Once in a while, maybe someone just comes over and is drinking a juice. Okay, you have this bottle. Now you know to stuff it. You clean it and you stuff it, and just have this be like more for people to be really managing the trash that they're creating and knowing where it's going and knowing what happens to it. But the upcycling center is really, I really get revved up about it. And I've also had visions of like, because there's places in Central America where there's just so much trash, and like in Lake Atitlan, like the whole edge of the lake is plastic bottles, these giant Coke bottles and plastic. And when I was there, I was doing this, I was creating these bricks, but I'm like, it really wouldn't take that many people to actually clean this whole section off and create these eco bricks like in a short period of time. So there's a lot. There's a lot of possibility.
What is the very first thing that we can help you with when, let's say, when you get back to Boston?
Well, the first thing would be if you would be on my team and create an eco brick. If you're in a space where there's the potential, and then you could send those to me.
Okay, so you want us each to create one eco brick and send it to you.
That would be a start. Because then I feel like I could document that too. Like I could make some sort of tutorial on how to do this. And then it would be like this documentation. And then I would have like these bricks from these friends, these teammates who decided to do it. And it could kind of build from there, just like teaching people how to do it and what the benefits are.
What's so it's like any carton?
Plastic bottle.
I have a proposal.
Go.
Could you make a first rough version, unpolished, of like describing how to do this and sending this to us?
Yes.
That way we can start with that, and then maybe we could give feedback on like, this was confusing. What do I do about that? Like we can start mining that. And
like getting the instructions down, getting how it works specific. Is that what you're saying? Cool. Yeah.
I have another proposal, which is I'm pretty sure I could find a plastic bottle in the house where I'm at. And I'm wondering if everyone else on this call can find a plastic bottle where they are at.
Yeah, let's meet back here in like 30 seconds.
Well,
Okay.
I would just want to check Natasha Genevieve. Is that
I'll look. I'm not sure. I just got
Beth,
here.
we find a plastic bottle. Beth, you're a space holder now, basically.
Yes. Okay, so let's take the next minute and a half, find a plastic bottle, and then if in your recycling there's other types of plastic, or in your trash there's other type of plastic, just bring like a bag or two and a pair of scissors.
Okay.
See you in 2 minutes.
Plastic.
2 minutes. Oh gosh. Okay, let's see. Is there any plastic bottle? Hi. RJ, hi. How are you? Wow, that's a big noise. Okay, I'm still on my call, but I'm. Do you have a pair of scissors that I could borrow? Yeah, that's perfect. That's fun. Hi. Okay.
A small plastic bottle and a bunch of.
And
Does that work?
yeah,
I have a
I
lot of
also
questions.
have I also have a small one, and to start, I'm taking off the thing, so if that's possible.
Can I start asking questions?
Yeah, go.
So I have some plastic bags, but they had food inside of them.
The food remnants still in there?
Yeah, so this is like impossible meat plastic container. So there's like the little bits of food stuffs in the corners and like a salad bag, stuff like that.
Yes. So seems like the salad bag, you could probably pick the stuff out if there's anything, but for the impossible meat one, it would need to be washed and
Okay.
dried. Yeah.
Okay. So I won't use those for right
So
now.
maybe start with something. Or you're saying there's only meat in the corners. You have a pair of scissors, right? So you can cut that part. You can cut any parts that don't have that.
It's touching enough of it that I would need to wash it.
Okay.
Okay. So any foodstuffs on any of it, and I need to wash it first.
It's yeah, if there's remnants of food. But like I was like with a salad, it would seem like you wouldn't have to get that wet. It seems like you could. Is
This
that
is
the container you're using?
my
That's
plastic.
your eco brick?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
but it has food inside, so I need to wash it. Is that right?
Yeah. Is it powdered?
Yeah.
I think it's fine then.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm learning too, I would have to maybe go back and like research that. Leslie? Okay, so I'm gonna start. We can bring up. So yes, we have these and they come in all shapes and sizes. Dawei, is the label able to come off or not?
Yes, I could get it off.
Okay, so it's good to peel the labels off too, because those can be then stuffed in. And even if it doesn't come off fully, but it looks like it's coming off pretty great.
It's too big.
No. So Leslie, can you peel the label off? That's kind of where we started. It's okay if not, but it's just like this. You peeled it off and it goes inside.
Oh,
Yeah, just squish it up. It stuffs inside. And just like that, things can get squished and stuffed inside.
Should I not
squished.
hard plastic shells inside?
Okay, so hard plastic is where the scissors come in. You'll cut up the hard plastic into little pieces and throw them in there.
So any kind of plastic.
Yes.
Oh,
So even if
good.
it's harder, like what? Can you show that again, Natasha? Yeah,
Yes.
like it was holding something. Just slice it up into its little slivers and stuff those
like
in.
like that.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it goes in
Plastic confetti.
for sure. And you know, the ones that are squishy don't need to be cut up, but they can be. It's like that. And so it starts to get to a point where you need to kind of jam it down. So the scissors can work for that, or you can use a stick or and
you
this
only,
is just
you only want to put plastic in here, so you wouldn't put other materials like metal or aluminum or something.
no, just plastic. As far as I know, for this type of eco brick. And it'll be surprising. It's always surprising to me how much actually fits, but this is just the beginning of your first eco brick, and it's not ready. It so much more can get stuffed in there, and even when you think it's full, pushing it down, really making sure it gets super compact and adding as much as you can. And then when it gets filled, the top goes on, and then that's the eco brick. And these get put in with sometimes natural building materials, sometimes concrete. And it'll look like this, and it'll be built up with these bricks. And they don't last forever. The sunlight shines on them. It really depends on a lot of factors, but they have been proven to like be completely solid for, like 10 years. So it's better. It's almost like there's a way in which it's kind of buying time and then using what already is here, because it's in no way meant to be like, oh, this is the solution, continue to create plastic bottles. Really, like the if there's a goal, it's that like single-use plastic bottles would be no more. They wouldn't be produced anymore. But this is like a temporary way to upcycle what is already here on planet Earth, because tomorrow there will still be more plastic bottles, and there will still be more plastic bottles until something like a hard line is really drawn and that ends. And I don't know when that will be.
Beth, I can really feel there are distinctions in this process. There's something in me about, like, maybe this stuff was going to be recycled. I pulled this from a recycling bin, but like I don't know if it actually gets recycled or not. And I can feel there's some distinction here that works for me about doing something with my hands with this, about making a material that might be useful to you in the now, rather than ignoring it, rather than having it disappear into the labyrinth of whatever happens to our recycling, like whether or not it gets recycled. Would you practice just delivering what distinctions you have about this that might not even have to exist so much in the realm of logic? Like I heard that a bit in what you were sharing of like, yeah, it's not supposed to be a full-on solution, this kind of stuff. And there's something else. There's something else about this. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. Yes. Yeah. There's a way in which doing this with the plastic that does show up in your life that seems at this point in time impossible to get rid of all plastic. There's a lot of ways in which we've become so reliant on it. And so we're in a space right now where we know this is not, it's beyond not sustainable for the planet to continue to create this plastic. And yet it seems impossible to get away from it. So it's like, along with making many decisions about buying less plastic from the grocery store, engaging less with cafes and just getting your, giant iced whatever it is, like bringing your own to go cup and these kinds of things, there is still plastic around you. And so this is a way to really engage with it, to be hands on with the waste that you are buying, producing, and that would otherwise, be brought to a landfill. And so this gives you an opportunity to upcycle and to create out of the waste that is there. And it's just one way. And like I said, there's, this becomes like a building material. So yes.
Even outside of like all the amazing things that you can do with it, you're like, the like logical argument of, okay, let's make bricks, and how do we build it, and how long will it last, and what if we like go another layer down, it's like, hey, this is a way for you to put your hands on and really functionally like feel what you are making, which is like, this is the amount of plastic. The amount of plastic that I used in this last month all fit in this. This is how long it took for me to fill this tub up with plastic. And regardless of the exact numbers or science of it, it's like, this is like connecting someone to like, hey, all of your plastic goes in here, and you're gonna like fill it and pack it until you can, like, there's something there.
Yeah, like responsibility. It's really, you're taking responsibility for the plastic that you're using. You're taking responsibility for it. Well, you get an opportunity to take responsibility for it.
And feeling what you're doing. In a
Yeah,
much
to
way.
see and feel what you're doing. Okay.
Like the
In a
quantity,
really physical, tangible way. It's like
like
visceral.
plastic. It's like, I don't know, I have a recycling bin, I fill it, I take it out each week. But I don't have like, I don't feel like I viscerally understand like the plastic that I'm engaging with and purchasing.
Yeah, so it's a chance for someone who does care about this to really engage with the amount of plastic they're buying and using, and yeah, taking responsibility right there before your very eyes and in your hands. But
Yeah,
there's more. There's something more.
it's one of the things that's happening to me right now is like, yeah, this black hole thing of like, okay, I just ordered a bunch of packages on Amazon for Christmas gifts for people, and so I have tons of plastic, and I'm like really struggling to squeeze it through this hole, and it's landing in me more what I'm doing. And I think there is still more in this space.
Yeah.
Like this is just so invisible to me. I don't even remember what was in this. It's just some long plastic thing that came in the mail. And yeah, and it's crazy. It's crazy to feel this kind of material in my hands.
And it's actually quite satisfying to see how squished down it can get. Like, that's another kind of angle. It's like, okay, there's this possibility to just make sure that does not end up in the ocean, like, draped over, or like in the digestive system of a whale. Like, it won't. If you stuff it into here, it will not end up in the digestive system of a whale. So
Okay, what's next? What's next in this space or project, Beth?
well, now everybody has their eco brick started, so I'm going to keep doing this one, and I'm going to create eco bricks with any of the plastic I see in the spaces I'm in for these next 7 days for sure. And for yeah, if you guys would just continue to fill your eco brick up as well. And well, now that the how-to is here on this video, but I also feel like there's more that could be said about that, and just like the element of having to clean it and this kind of thing to make sure there's no like food nastiness inside. And does anyone else see a next thing? Like I'm sort of just like here in it with this eco brick and feeling quite alive actually about this. Because I really want to build an outdoor amphitheater out of eco bricks.
I'd like to see everyone's eco bricks, the start of them, because I
Yeah.
only saw a glimpse of Leslie's giant. Yeah, okay.
Get it in there.
Can we
But-
see inside yours, Natasha? Okay.
I have like a lot of space.
Cool.
Leslie, can we see your milk carton? Great.
I was
Mhm.
thinking about, we have recycling once a week in my neighborhood, and from our 7 houses that are all on one street, we must put out at least 10 bags of plastics. And that's once a week.
Mm.
And I've, there was at one point, there was this aluminum can smasher for making everything small, but then I guess the problem with it is that it got heavy in the bag. But what I hate is how many plastic bags we use to store our plastic recyclables and our garbage. And so one thought I had was, if by chance the plastic is recycled, would this would also be recycled? What I'm asking is, yes, it could be a brick, but if the brick project doesn't happen, could it just be a way to compact the plastic, and would it still be recyclable then? And as a storage issue, it's a plastic bag issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like pre-processing it. So like even like Beth was saying, hey, every county, every country, every county, every city has a different like method for actually dealing with this. It's like then also finding the places where it's like, oh, they actually like responsibly deal with plastic. Let's make a ton of eco bricks and once a month take them there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and I was thinking of, if I invited people to in my community to a eco brick making day or whatever, workshop for an hour or two, it would be this, it would gather people together, it would create something that could be particularly valuable for people who don't have money for building materials. It could be just like you said, a hands-on experience of just how much plastic we have in our environment. And maybe it would do what I think you're essentially saying, which is wake up. This is, if we just keep doing it the way we've been doing it, it's not going to get better. And it will get more. It'll keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool. Yeah.
yeah, I guess I would want to find out what, more about how it is as a building block, a building tool, and also whether it can be recycled as a block
Mm-hmm.
once it's done.
Yeah, I know that different places recycle different things. It's like if it has color on it, no, or if it has, so it's like that part. I'm not sure, but I really love what you're saying about bringing your community together. That's cool. And I myself feel like I need to do some more research too about the even how it's used as a building material, because I've read a little bit about it and I got really into it for a while, especially when I was living in Nicaragua. We were just making eco bricks because there was a place that took them and we're going to be building with them. So it was
Oh.
great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a place already. Okay, you could
Yes.
bring them at that place. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because after
Yeah.
here, I don't know what I can do after. I
Yeah.
would
I
like to
don't think it
build
exists
a
anywhere
brick,
here in the
but I don't know.
US or Canada, but
So how are you starting that place?
right. Yeah. How? Well, by dialing in what it needs to be, I'm starting it by talking about it, number one, but really dialing in what the needs for a place like that would be. Like I think it's like about writing it out actually, like writing out exactly what that is, it's almost like a business plan in a way. But talking about like how much space would be needed and really what the system would be and how it would work with like local recycling centers,
Is
or
this
if
to
it would.
build the amphitheater or to make bricks?
Well, first step is this upcycling center. Yeah.
Yeah.
First step is that, because it's not going to be my sister's house. She's like, what are these things? I have them in my room. She's like, don't keep any of the plastic. She's like telling me that, so I need to, it's not there. It's not my sister's house, but yes, like it needs to be a space.
Right. Hmm.
How many eco bricks do you have, Beth?
I probably have like only like 4 or something in Boston.
Okay.
Over time, many more, but yeah, right now in Boston, because I've been coming and going from there.
I I want to hear more about it. I want to hear about this thing that's been in you, in your life, in your heart. Like these are landing in me as like little pets or something.
Hmm.
And you have them like secretly with you at your sister's house, and she's saying like, Beth told you not to bring any more stray dogs back
Yeah,
here.
totally. It's like that
Stop
with
making
trash.
stop making your
Yeah.
eco bricks. And I want to
Yeah.
hear this is the start of a game world.
Yeah.
It's
Stop
the start
keeping
of
boxes too. It's because I'm very into upcycling. So I make art out of upcycled stuff because I'm just like, I don't want to throw this in the trash. And there's this way in which it's like it is kind of hidden, because I think that there's like I have fear that it makes me a hoarder or something like this, but I know it's not that. It's actually like wanting to give new life to something instead of just put it in a landfill. And I am passionate about that because I've been really like tracking this like trash island thing in the middle of the ocean where all the trash comes, and just I'm really also like I love the coral reefs and like the rehabilitation that's happening in the coral reefs, and all of that is just being degraded by this human waste. And so it's a big thing actually for me. It's like yeah, I have a lot of passion about it, and I've just been operating definitely on my own in like secret for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of these things that we talked about maybe a couple months ago about these paired shadow and bright principles, that there could be a shadow principle of some kind of hoarding,
Mm-hmm.
and altering it just a few degrees turns it into a bright principle, which is what I think is here. And I don't know what upcycling or some
Mm-hmm.
conservation, whatever the bright principle is. And and I and you really have a game world. You really have a game world on your hands here
Mm-hmm.
about this, that I think so many people would be happy to build eco bricks and help you with this. And I don't know if it's makes sense for people to mail them all to you, or you need to find people in person to do them, or just people start doing this, or you start empowering Leslie to hold space for this game world in her community, you start empowering all of us to hold space for this in our communities. But there's
Yeah.
there's really a game world blossoming here.
Yeah. I really
So
see it, and I can feel it too, because I feel joy. And to our eco bricks, you guys, put them up. This is where the eco bricks come together. Yeah. Definitely like for bridge houses and communities, it's definitely a team situation. It's not like a lone wolf, because that's where the hoarding is a little bit, I think.
okay, and like now, what are your next steps as the steward of this eco brick game world?
It seems like I need to give it a name and make a website. That would be like, or just like start the writing of what it is.
Do
Could
you
just
need
be
any?
eco brick game world, but I'm not sure. Something like upcycling. It's really about the upcycling. I feel like upcycling is a bright principle on the planet right now.
Yeah, regeneration, I guess is what I've heard, upcycling. What kind of help do you need from us on these next steps?
Hmm. Well, I haven't made a website on my Strikingly before. So my guess is that it's pretty straightforward. Have any of you guys made a website?
Not on my strikingly.
Not on my striking. It seems very straightforward.
I think so. Um, well, I have an idea. If I start will you be on my team about this? I mean, you're on my team right now in this call, but will you be on my team, Dawei, Natasha, Leslie, and Genevieve? Will you be on my team for upcycling, for the upcycling game world?
Yes, I'm
I
on I'm
think
on
so,
your
yes.
team. And I also want to know how I can be on your team.
Well, I will need, like, okay, so what I imagine is that I create a Telegram group, and this is where I start sharing, like, because I have further research to do and I'm going to start doing the writing about this. So one thing I would need was for it's you to be a space where I can share what I've got and get feedback about, like, the writing, for instance, like the clarity in it, if it's coming through. That's the first thing that comes to me, is like sharing as I create in this group, and the invitation is for feedback about what I share.
Yes.
That's fine for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to know what I do with this now. Where do I send it to? It's quite heavy.
I
It's
think it still could get more stuff in there.
okay, so I keep stuffing stuff in here.
Stuff it. And maybe add some color. Stuff it, and then you can send it to me. I'll give you the address in the group.
Okay.
I have two
Yeah.
thoughts. One is, yes, I want to fill this. So I'm going to. The second is the logic box part of me is a little like, oh, the cost of like shipping also.
You don't have to ship it from Japan.
So I just like, um, yeah. So there is an open question for me of like, what do I do with this once I fill it? I feel very excited and signed up to fill it.
Yeah.
But would love help or guidance
Yeah,
around.
what to do after you fill it. I need to research
Okay, that'd be
this. Yeah. To give some possibilities about that.
Maybe you create just an Instagram account or something all the eco bricks around the world that are created.
That's cool.
Could you repeat, please?
Yeah, I was imagining something where just people around the world can share the eco bricks that are created as an alternative to having to ship them somewhere, and just people collect them locally. And to
Yes.
start this, I'm happy to ship it.
Okay.
This
I
is
think
why
it's both. Yeah.
this is why you spoke about eco centers. If we can find a way to invite them to do something with that, or to keep them in,
Yes.
it could be a good way to
Yes.
to center them, to regroup them, I mean.
Yes.
Also, like I had Darwin's idea of like an Instagram account. When you first started talking about those eco bricks, I was like, I bet we can make them really cute and like they can be like little
Totally.
objects, and
Yeah.
there's kind of some joy in like what you were saying, like upcycling or like it feeling like art.
Mm, yes. I also, I'm just thinking too, like when people throw out paper, just like papers of like anything, mail and all that stuff. Well, there's other stuff you can do with it too. So it's like I have like many aspects of this because I put it in water and I actually massage it, and you can make sculptures out of paper, out of reusable paper. Or you can flatten it. There's just a lot of different things. It's like there's so many options except just like putting it in a landfill. But for me, a lot of them have to do with like making art because that's what I like to do with it. Um, so it reminded me of that because Natasha, I think I have that exact white container, and it's full of little, yeah, it's full of little homemade paper balls that I made out of all of my like essays and everything from college. I like soaked it in water for a long time, and then I put eyeballs on them. So there's like little people and they live in the plastic, but for what? Honestly, ultimately for what? So there's still more, but there's like a next, I need to know. But I do like that Instagram account idea. And I like the idea of making them pretty. Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like you will write something about this game world or about this
Yes.
process, and we'll hear about it.
Yes. You will. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yes.
Who else has something? Anything? Who else has something to ask for or share or contribute?
I am I've been talking with Dorothea, who is still here, and I've felt encouraged to do more, to take more leadership in spaces here in my community. I keep feeling like I have to wait until after my husband passes, and yet we decided that we would do a listening workshop January 2nd, the Tuesday, and that the idea is to start a program in my community where people can offer or be asked to listen, just to listen, not in the HP, not any kind of process or therapy, but just someone to listen to them. And Dorothea felt confident that she could make it happen, and I would like to do that with her. And if for some reason I'm too frantic or I just can't manage it, she'll do it on her own. But I feel very excited about working it out with her to do this workshop. And because it's something that many people have said they see a need for. And I organize activities, and I have such a hard time staying in my center, knowing that what I'm offering is of value. And there's so much in the way of, between the way I talk and stammer and hesitate to, that I cannot bring myself fully in to the moment. Not that I can't, but I often can't seem unable to do that. Into just be with the people, what's happening. Just that. I'm so caught up in how I look, how I am acting, how somebody, shook their head or rolled their eyes or whatever. And I don't even believe in that stuff, but I'm really susceptible to it. And I'm not doing what it takes to get, to do it anyway and to process it before, or, deal with my fear before, deal with my whatever feelings come up after. It just seems like an enormous task, even though I've been studying mediation, conflict resolution, meeting facilitation, counseling for years, since I'm 12th grade. So there's I said I wanted to hold space for this group because I didn't want it to die. I didn't want to have no group just because Dawi wasn't going to be there. And when I said I wanted to, I had some faith that between me and everybody who's on the call, we would have a great experience. But I held space for my other group, which is the Matrix Building Space Holders, and the voices. What the hell am I doing? Who the hell do I think I am? I can't do this, even though once I'm involved, I can do it, but not as the main space holder. So that's my wrap. That's where I'm stuck. And what I'm asking for is don't know. I don't want a pep talk. I don't want to set a goal that is going to be impossible for me to reach.
I'm really
What was that, Natasha?
what was that feeling that just came up?
I feel sad that it's like this. I just don't feel like I have access to this bright part of myself, this non-self-conscious, non yeah, ego centered. And it, I mean, my performance pretty much sucks. I have maybe a fantasy world that, just it's just if I just pull apart something and step through and cavitate and whatever, that okay, then I'll have fear and I'll have whatever, all my same insecurities, but I won't keep stopping myself, keep censoring and holding back and hiding and deciding that I'm not capable. I don't have what it takes.
And
I was
I think it's a fantasy that it might happen one day that you'll feel fear and things, and but you won't have these other things.
It's a fantasy that I still have. That's why I'm still here. I just think that some big boulder or some huge block is really the only thing standing in the way.
Who here has made transformation, has made a massive, at least one massive transformation in their life, where looking back, you were a totally different person in at least one area?
I do.
Can can anybody, how has it worked for anybody that raised their hand? Has it been just this one massive, a big shift, or how has it been?
For me, how it has been that I worked on myself, not with possibility management because I didn't know that, but with other person in other fields, and it is like, in a way, it was in a way quite sudden in that field. No, I cannot go back. And for example, my boss cannot tell me this and this and then do that, and don't pay me for that. So, and it was suddenly, it was like, no, I don't accept this, and I am, and it worked. It was that I said, well, now I have this and this and this responsibility, and either you pay me for that, or we must find another way. But it was completely clear. When it was clear, and I could stand. It worked like that. But it was a progress, and suddenly it was like sudden, no more, finished. From my divorce, it was in a way like that. I try that. I cannot, and suddenly, yes, it is finished. There is a break. For me, it is in those two fields, it was like that.
Do you know how to ride a bike, Leslie?
Yes.
I think gosh, I feel so scared even to say about what I think about how transformation works. And my experience is something like Genevieve's is there's a lot of going and going and going. And then the shift is so remarkable that it seems like, okay, the world is totally different. It's just so clear. I just don't do this anymore. One day I could not ride a bicycle. The next day I can ride a bicycle. And I remember when I learned how to ride a bicycle, I could just ride it. Once I learned how to ride a bicycle, then yes, I could just ride a bicycle because I was a different person who knew how to ride a bicycle. And in describing this, it might seem like, okay, so there's this one transformational portal where Dawi doesn't know how to ride a bicycle. Then all of a sudden, Dawi wakes up, knows how to ride a bicycle. Some amazing self-surgery happened. And the reality is something like, I think that nobody really has a clear idea on how Matrix gets built, but it's happening. It's happening sometimes in the background, sometimes because of things we're consciously doing, consciously exploring. And yes, it's not this one big boulder that one day magically disappears.
I would like to add
Yeah.
something. Yes, there is a spark. I don't remember the number, but it came this week because of the spark we read last week, and it is about self-confidence is a decision. And the first time I saw that, I said, completely. I felt like it is completely silly. How can it be a decision? It is not a decision. Da, 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 da. And after reading and making experiments, this is not so bad. maybe. And really, and last week, just to illustrate that, that because it is Christmas time, and I had Christmas feast in association where I am involved in, and I really could see me. It was like before. I don't like to be in those fields, those persons. I don't know many persons because there are more than I know some, but I don't know all the team. How will it be? And suddenly, no. The next week it was, what is that childish minding? I switched, and it came. Self-confident is a decision. And then when I arrived, okay, it will be good. I like anyone I know there. And it was completely different from 2 years ago, for example. I could really feel in my head or in my body. No, you switch. No childish, no childish. Self-confidence is the decision. Okay, I arrive. I will have fun. It is a feast. Okay. So this is examples.
Leslie, I have a semi-related question, which is how do you use this team, or how does this team help you stay at your edge in terms of evolving as a space holder?
Good question. I think one of the things I do in this and most of the spaces I'm in, PM spaces, is I take notes, and I think this is good because I can present that, I can bring this to a possibility team or some group that I hold space for. And then I don't look at it until the one day that I do decide I'm going to do some kind of, I did an unhookable team for a while here in my community, but it didn't catch on, and I got more and more insecure as it went. I did start out with, I can do this. Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to use the rest of this time on this subject. I feel I'm in a new, phase of fear and sadness around my husband, because it's getting closer to the time that he's gonna die. And so I just feel like after that, when I'm done, not done, but when I feel like I've grieved enough, then I'll be ready for this next phase, or this next. Yeah, I mean,
That still comes off to me, and I hear you about how you're feeling. So I want to say I hear that you're feeling sad and afraid. Yeah, about your husband. And it sounds linear. It's not, I just want you to really investigate about this. That's when I'm going to step into it. You already did. You stepped in, and you're going to be holding space for this spark group. And you stepped in, and you're creating a communication space for your community. And so they are both happening simultaneously for a reason, I think.
right.
I asked somebody for advice. I was having trouble the first week or two holding space for this Spark team. I thought I was having trouble because I wasn't sure how to tell which is a good spark for the team. And I was thinking, I need to go figure out people's necessity. I need to scan people's necessity, but it's not like I'm in a training space with them. They're gone for 6 days a week. Then I see them one day a week. I can't really scan what the necessity of the space. And the person I asked just said, how about you forget that and you pick a spark only on your own necessity? That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing every week since then, is I'm holding this team for the spark that seems interesting to me that week. And so when I hear this thing of you have to grieve a certain amount and then you're ready, it would be the purpose of that would be to totally take yourself out of the space. As space holder, Leslie has to be whatever, grieved enough, and then it's actually the kind of leadership that the spark we read today is not talking about. And so in this space right now, Leslie, even with your doubts, your fears, your emotions from the past about space holding, whatever stories you have of it works when I'm in it, but then how do I get in it? Would you just start experimenting and start holding space as the example for how it goes? And as a hint, it would mean to just really make contact, to look around your screen and just make contact and energetically, not just mentally, but energetically, emotionally, as well, bring people with you, bring yourself to people, and just start making contact and going, and start about what's your necessity. You don't want this team to die. Why? What is so precious
Mm.
about this team to you? Okay, so navigate towards that place. What experiments do you want in your life? Okay, navigate towards that space.
Mm.
I would like to add something. So, I don't have expectations. In fact, well, I am very new in that, but well, it's completely okay for me. Well, okay, we'll read that spark or whatever, and even if there is no spark, as long as we are we are invited to well to share and we think or we feel and I don't have expectations except having a meeting and being able to understand more, or to know more, or to have a new distinction, or that
Mm.
that's what I don't have. I don't want you. I don't need you, and I don't want you to be perfect in any field. In fact, because especially when I see someone in a conference or what who is perfect, really for me it is not. Oh, I go away. I go away because I don't feel connected. I don't feel I can. For example, when did you see spectacles of circus spectacles? When I see a perfect circus spectacle, I don't feel anything. Okay, I just when is it finishing? When I see just 2% and they are it is difficult for them. I can feel, I can imagine myself in that situation or in a way. And then I feel alive or I want to be like that, you know? You understand what I mean, Leslie?
So, yes.
I know I don't express myself good,
No,
especially in English, but
you're saying that seeing the humanness in the person is more appealing. It makes you feel more connected than seeing somebody who's completely polished and always knows what to say. And
yes. And I can advance with them
Mm.
in a way, in a space like that one.
yeah,
Otherwise, I am in my way. Well, and they are just before a long way before me. I cannot run quick enough.
I have joy and fear around this. I have a lot of joy at the notion of being led by someone who's going through active grief. That has been a large part of my life, and I feel like excited. I feel scared, and but like that's amazing. I also just
Mm.
feel um like happy and sad. Happy at the idea that all of you would be here, even if that includes the fear or the grief or the what have you. Yeah, that feels. I feel sad thinking that we're not all here.
Mm. Mhm.
I want us to be.
did you mean us individually, or you mean all here, like
Individually. Like
hmm,
that you wouldn't be ready or welcome in the space if unless you've grieved enough or something.
Mm.
So, Leslie, you have a team here with you, and you have about 26, 25 minutes left in this space. I propose you just start leading the rest of space holding, leading the rest of this session. And we have some spark energy in the space, but you can take it in whatever direction. What's what do you think?
okay. Yes, I would like to do that. I would be happy to do that. And fearful. One of the groups that I have been in, somebody started with 3 minutes of anger and just everybody all at once, 3 minutes. And it was an amazing kickoff to the group. And so I would like to make that happen right now. I have
Get my towel.
I need to get a towel also.
Me too.
I love that you shared that idea and everyone was like, all right, I gotta get my towel. I got Thank you, Dawe, for starting this and for holding space this last 5 weeks.
You're welcome.
and the invitation is to speak into the space what you're angry about. So it's, yeah, and we'll all do it at the same time. And yeah, go big. 1, 2.
Leslie, I just want a couple seconds, closing every door I can.
Okay.
I know. I'm also like, okay, I'm gonna go into the bathroom.
Just be there and make as much noise as you want, but also do the towel to the mouth.
I'm going in the bathtub and towel to the mouth. That should be good.
Great. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Fuck. Where's my bowl? When I want to talk, I want to be able to say what I have to say. Holding back. Holding back too many times. And I'm tired of so much fucking hesitating. I know what I want to say. I don't think it through. I don't need to think it through. Fuck, I'm tired of that. Fucking tired of it. Fucking holding back. Tired of not being present. Being greatness to it. What I have to offer. God damn it. God damn it. Jesus. Close. Yeah. And let the anger circulate. Sense your feet on the floor. Let your breath travel. And come slowly back. I want to know what you discovered. I discovered that I'm really angry at the limitations I put, that I declare. I'm angry at my own, keeping myself down. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm really angry about the way I've layered so many spaces on top of each other in my life. That the Magic Cow Bridge House officially closed a few days ago, and then we drove like 9 hours to Meredith's parents' house for the holidays, and just to switch spaces that fast, I feel angry about, and to not have my own space and my own speed.
Thank you.
Feel angry about the amount of energy that I'm putting into my relationship and not also myself, and the time and space that I need, and the fact that I need things outside of that as well. And I'm angry about like dynamics where everyone's trying to meet everyone else's need, and so no needs get stated. Very angry. Just like watching every person in the space have none of their needs met is just like, yeah, feel really alive about that right now.
I'm angry that humans still fight wars, that there's just so many people just being killed right now all over the planet over resources, and that everyone doesn't have like access to healthy food and clean water.
Is it finished, Beth?
Yes.
Okay. I feel angry because for all the stuff I tell myself also when I want to begin something or to continue something, but no, I now, like you said, in a way, I'm not able to. Are you sure? I always ask myself, can I go further? Can I go further? I'm fed up of that, and oh, I'm very angry against me, against that behavior recurring.
Could you say again, what is it about? You're angry at yourself for trying to push more to make yourself do more? Did I hear you correctly?
I feel angry that each time I want to begin or to go further on something, I always have a step where I ask again and again and again and again. So too much. I am good enough, like you. I am. I am strong enough. I am. Yes, that kind of questions, which sometimes it is good. Sometimes it can be good to ask, of course, but many times in my daily life or once I am involved in someone, just go. I shouldn't just go. Is it
Yeah.
more clear?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. One part of this Spark 72 that we read, to be a leader does not mean to be the best, etc. I wrote down go first, about going first, and this is something that's what sparked me to step up and say I wanted to hold space for this group. And I also read, I heard make fear your friend. And that speaks to me as something that I keep forgetting about. You know, what do you have for me? Fear, and listening to fear. And I keep, I guess, trying to, I keep using fear as a block instead of noticing it and mining it for what it has for me.
Mm.
Yeah, did any, where are you with going first? Where, I suspect that that's an issue for each of us.
Mm.
Maybe less so for Dawei.
Leslie, one coaching as you space hold, stay in contact with everyone, and you you do the eyes looking away thing a lot, and it's like I want to hear where you're going, and it doesn't necessarily, when you're looking away, I don't know if you're speaking to me really.
Thank you.
And I also think you have a lot more to say. It's like there's a doorway you open for yourself with this thing about going first. And then there's this thing about fear. making fear your friend, and then you come back to the thing about going first. And what if you just stayed? What do you really have to say about going first? And yeah, what do you really have to say about going first?
Had this idea, I had this kind of,
So stay in contact with us, Leslie. It might be really uncomfortable at first, meaning there might be fear, other things running in you. See if you can just stay mostly in contact. Maybe you pick one person on the screen to just speak to. Have you picked one person?
yes.
Okay, would you speak to that person and just say what you were going to say? And if you notice big things happening in your body, whatever, just let it happen. You might need to stop speaking. We're here with you.
Thank you. Yeah. This idea of going first from a place of falling in love. It's like, I don't know where it came from. Maybe I heard it somewhere, but I think I put the two things together like surrendering. Like instead of going first, like charge, like I've got my flag and I'm stepping up to the front and I'm, yes, call on me and I'm the one. And it's more like, I want to give myself to this. And I, I, I know the feeling. I, I want it. I want more, that feeling. I want to know if you have that feeling and how do you get there if it's not there? How do you?
Is that really what you want to know? And also, it totally worked for me, what you shared. But does it really matter to you if I have that feeling? What's
Yeah, I don't know what to. I I think I just wanted to be quiet, and just let it sit. But I thought I needed to engage, bring people in or do something active, ask the question.
well, maybe you did want to bring people in. What do you want? Why are you telling us this thing about going first is falling in love?
Because it's what it's a way that I've experienced that, so I know what it feels like.
Mhm.
And I keep forgetting, I keep not knowing how to get there, I keep not even remembering that that's an option, to just fall in love, to
Yeah, it sounds like you have a distinction about going first, falling in love somehow. And I got it a little bit as you were speaking. I'd never thought of it like that way, and I got it a little bit. And I'm It sounds to me like you want to deepen that distinction together, or you want to transmit that distinction or share that distinction with us. Is that accurate?
Yes, and kind of bring it more into my, make it more accessible, more like part of my being, my body's vocabulary.
We're very short on time. So do you have something that we could that you would want us to experiment with or something like this?
Mm.
And do you have something, Natasha?
Yeah, I was just, it sounded like it'd be interested in two experiments. One of how we could actually play with that feeling and map out that distinction more. And the second was from before when you talked about fear. I had curiosity in both,
Mm.
drive in both.
Yeah. So an experiment, one experiment would be notice whatever holds you back this week, and then ask your fear, what do you have for me? Just, yeah, just notice the holding back part. And then making fear your friend. It's almost like falling in love. It's almost like the same thing to me, that falling into fear, falling into love. It's just allowing, surrender, stepping in. So, yeah.
I have a proposal for that experiment for this week of writing down when we notice ourselves holding back and just observing and asking the fear that question, like, what do you have for me?
Yes. Thank you for the form. Yeah. Writing. It'd be great. We'd love to hear from you next week.
Will anyone else do that experiment with me?
Thank you, Leslie.
Zoe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will close the space for this week here. I won't be joining the next couple months because Meredith and I we're going bike packing through Kenya,
Oh my gosh.
which is really cool, and I'm really excited about it. And yeah, so I'm just not joining any video calls. And I feel sad that I won't be here for the next call because I really want to hear what you have to say, Leslie, and what you all discover about this thing of going first and falling in love. Um, but I'll check it out on my own time.
Great.
Cool.
Have a good hiking trip and enjoy it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Dawei.
Giant. Thank you, Dewi. Yes. And
An awesome
enjoy your
time.
trip.
Thank you. Okay. Happy holidays, happy experimenting, happy eco brick making.
Yes, EcoBrick. I'll post a new link. We'll use my link.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, team.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.